and we're going to be talking about the news today and about Xfinity. Did you know that internet can do that? All of these ads. Today we are on MSNBC. I chose MSNBC because it is the favorite news source of my parents, also anonymous sources' grandparents. And I figured, I don't know, we could see, he spends a lot of time with them, so we can see what kind of news they consume, and maybe it'll explain what's going on in their heads. Which you're homesick today, right?
Yes, I am.
You're sitting right behind me, and you're talking directly into my airways.
Yes.
Okay, maybe not the smartest decision on my part. But thankfully you don't have the COVIDs.
Yes, no I don't. It is very good.
Yeah, we went and got them tested yesterday, and they shoved a thing up your nose. Was that nice?
No, it actually stung a lot.
It stung a lot. Make sure you talk up loud so everybody can hear you, all right?
It stung a lot.
It stung a lot, okay. Yeah. Right now we're cramped into my little, desk area. Ideally, we would be doing this on your computer, right?
Yeah,
and talking over Discord or something, but his computer is, well, we're not sure what's wrong with it.
Yeah, no, but it's just black screening.
Yeah.
We've tried everything, and it's just not working.
I don't know, you computer experts out there, I've dealt with black screens a little bit, but lately it's been more blue screens, But this is so weird. It goes, it does an automatic repair, and then it just black screens, and I've done safe mode, and I've done resets, and I've done all kinds of stuff. At this point, I'm fairly certain it's a hardware malfunction, which sucks, because that means I gotta tear it all apart and rebuild it.
Yeah.
But that's also fun, too. It can be fun. Last time your computer, sweat and blood went into the building of your computer. Maybe that's why it's broken now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the hydration.
It's the hydration. It's water cooled, blood cooled.
Yeah.
My blood cooled PC.
The vampire PC.
So MSNBC is, I guess, what you would call mainstream left-wing news, although the mainstream left-wing in America is closer to like the rest of the world's right-wing. So I don't even know, but it's still considered kind of left-wing news. And we can see here, there's up at the very top, it says lizard brain logic with a picture of Trump. Trump isn't ashamed of how he's spending 9/11. Neither are his fans. Of course, Trump is famous for bragging about the size of Trump Tower after 9/11 when the Twin Towers came down.
That's just...
Did you not know that?
No, I did not. Wow.
So there's an interview that he gives, I think it's a couple days after 9/11, where he makes this kind of side comment about how his tower is now the tallest or the second. I forget. He's basically bragging about how awesome his tower is now that the Twin Towers aren't around to...
Sheesh. Wow.
Yeah, and...
Oh, gosh.
And apparently people like that.
What?
Interestingly, MSNBC... the very top news story, the one that is front and center, which I gotta say, once again, it's a very cluttered kind of news site. Not as bad as CNN was, but there's just a lot going on, so it's hard to your eyes, of course, are drawn immediately to the center, but not as much, I think, as other... Actually, your eyes are drawn to the giant freaking advertisement at the top. But otherwise, it's... I don't know. There's just so much going on. It's almost like it's intended to kind of scramble your brain, and just kind of confuse you and overwhelm you. Almost like, there's this theory that supermarkets do this. There's this kind of how we get overwhelmed by too many choices. And I wonder if there's something similar going on here in terms of the psychology behind why they design it to be so freaking cluttered. Anyways, I'm surprised that the center story is about Afghanistan and the Taliban. It says, what the U.S. left behind for the Taliban is scarier than missiles. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, yeah, just given that this is MSNBC, you wouldn't think, although they've been attacking him about Afghanistan from basically every angle of the political spectrum. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Afghanistan, Will? Or, I'm sorry, anonymous source?
Yes, anonymous source. I think it's just really weird how long we've stayed there, even though our efforts haven't really worked. Like, every time we've took down figurehead or cleared areas, they always just go back to where they were. It's almost like we did nothing, and we've wasted, like, supplies, and people have died doing that.
Yeah, I that
It's
comment
just-
about it feels like we've made like no progress.
Mhm.
Now, when they made the decision to pull out, they thought the evacuation and the withdrawal was going to go more smoothly because they assumed that we had made some progress.
Mhm.
They thought, okay, the Afghan army is actually going to be able to hold the country for a little while. Of course, it was basically they surrendered, within a week. And there are some reports. It basically seemed like the Afghan army was already either working for or had surrendered to the Taliban prior to our even leaving. So yeah, it really feels like we made no progress there over 20 years. At the same time, there are stories of things like the Afghan women's robotics team.
Mhm.
So these young girls, girls who are your age, because of the U.S. presence, were given the opportunity to pursue something that they would never be able to pursue under the Taliban.
Mhm.
So does that change your perspective at all?
Well, I mean, it's still kind of disappointing how fast it went, and I think most people thought that since it would last longer, those forms of, like, programs for women to do more stuff, because I know that the Taliban don't really have that much fondness for women's rights, I've heard.
Not really. So they
So,
say,
yeah.
just one of those rumors flying around. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think I forgot what the question was.
I'm just, some people point
I have
to,
bad memory.
because there's this feeling like we didn't make any progress, and some people point to examples like the women's robotics team saying, look, people are dying, we're spending lots of money, but look at this amazing stuff that was able to happen because of our presence there. Doesn't that make it worth it? Isn't that progress enough that these 30 young women were able to pursue this thing that they're not going to be able to pursue now? Does that justify our presence there?
Oh, wait, you're asking me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a really similar analogy that I have for some other stuff, and it's kind of sad, but if you do something and it immediately gets reverted, like if you just clean your room and then
trash it.
Small child
like your
small
little sister,
child
yeah.
comes in and just trashes it, like, what did you really do in the long run? Because all you did was you made a small blip on the radar, and the rest after that, you're going to have to work back all of that. And I don't think the U.S. is going to try to do that with
So because
Afghanistan.
the program, the women's robotics team, because it's so fragile, and because the only thing holding it together are these extreme sacrifices that we're having to make in terms of lives and money, and that it can so easily fall apart. You're saying that it's almost like the illusion of progress.
Yeah.
Right. The room is clean, but it's not really clean because you know that any second it's all just going to explode again.
Yeah.
That's an interesting analogy there. I'm glad that you were able to bring in your terrible evil sister too.
Yeah.
Into our discussion. Now, I know that there was a story on here that you wanted to talk about.
There.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, there.
So it says, misinformation and shady networks, the growing fake vaccine card market. So why did this story stand out to you?
So I heard a story somewhere else. I forgot where. Most likely Reddit, because that's what I used recently for jokes and stuff. And so that's what I used most recently for jokes and stuff. He told me to speak louder. And so I saw a thing where they were mass producing these, and so there were some defects on it. And so apparently they had misspelled Moderna on it, and people were getting arrested. And I feel like that's an adequate response because they're putting other people in danger. But I'm just confused why people would even need to get the fake vaccine card, but they can just get the regular thing and still get the vaccine card. not have the issues of like going to jail
What?
or
I
making people
yeah.
die.
I've heard this story too. I believe it was Moderna spelled with an A.
Yeah,
Um.
I saw it with a Y actually somewhere.
Wow. Okay. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how you get that spelling, but yeah. And but I think you can answer your own question. You're asking why are people getting these fake vaccine cards? Well, why do you think they're getting the fake vaccine cards?
Because they're scared of the real ones, but
So they're scared of the real ones. And I kind of wonder how much it is driven by fear. If some of these people who are claiming that they don't want government tyranny, if it's really just fear, if they're really just scared. But I'm sure you've heard this argument as well that it's about freedom. They
how?
should they should have the freedom to not take the vaccine.
So I saw a video of some person walking around and directly harassing this family by walking around without a mask on and just coughing on them because they were wearing a mask. And then she went into a big rant about her rights. But, like, you are putting other people in danger. If you want your rights, you have to not put other people in danger. It's like that. It's like that video. It's like that news article about the people who were trying to release a murderer because they thought they looked good. Like that. That's just
Well, the one about the male model,
no the murder.
but was he a murderer? Because I remember reading one where it was I think he was responsible for like multiple armed robberies, and they had his mugshot go up in the news, and everybody's response was, "Oh my gosh, he is so sexy, he should not be in jail." And it was amazing. It was an example of how much beauty and physical appearance can privilege you in life if you're lucky to be born good looking. Good looking according to mainstream standards. Is that what you're talking about? There was a similar kind of like they. Well, there's also like Charles Manson, right, where he had like a whole fan club.
I don't think it was Manson, but I know it was a thing about maybe he did murders and the armed robberies. By,
Yeah.
like, shooting
I guess there's a lot of
civilians or something.
like serial killers and stuff that have fan clubs and people.
Yeah, no, that's like.
But so you're equating these.
Well, it's you are literally putting them at risk to die.
Yeah.
It's really just
That my 13-year-old
yeah.
can articulate this simply enough, I think, for anybody to understand. Says a lot about the current state of the Republican Party. It's pretty basic. You know, people screaming about my freedoms as they're wearing their seatbelts in their car that's filled with all kinds of safety protocols that are regulated by the government, as they are not drinking and driving because they can't drink. Like, it's like your freedoms are restricted every day in a million ways, in ways that are far more severe than having to get a vaccine or or wear a mask. So to me, it tells me it's not really about freedom either. Yeah, that's they're just using that as the excuse. And so if it's not about freedom, what is it really about? Is it fear? Are they just really, really scared? I don't know about that. I think that's probably true for some of them.
Yeah. I've seen rumors. I've heard about rumors where people think that the vaccine is gonna like make them go bald. Or... yeah, no, I heard that. I heard that. It is just...
But just like out of all the potential side effects, like death and autism, which I guess I don't know, baldness versus autism. Which one is which one is
in this beauty standard centered environment that we live in now?
That's true. That's true. Good
Exactly.
Good point.
As the people who are trying to release him from prison. They want to get released from prison for looking good.
So let me ask you this, and maybe you're not aware of this, but your nana, your mom's mom, is refusing to get vaccinated.
I know, it's kind of.
So why do you think she's refusing? I mean, because a lot of these people that we're talking about, we don't know them personally, so we can only speculate. You know your nana, maybe not as well as you know some of your other family members, but why do you think she's refusing to get it done?
So I did hear an argument, or I did hear in a conversation why. It was because it was created in so little time but then the FDA approved it. So that should not matter if the FDA, like the big boss in that sort of Food and Drug Association, like they say it's safe. It's safe. Like you don't have to worry about it. Like if it was a back alley one.
Hold on. So we shouldn't question the FDA. Don't they have a history of approving drugs that ended up actually being harmful to Americans?
Yes, but like I forgot what year it was, but like they used to put like caramel coloring in Coca-Cola to like hide some. I saw an animator do something where it was like they accidentally dropped a Band-Aid in it, and so they just poured in a bunch of caramel coloring, and some guy actually fell in, and it was way over exaggerated. But they used that to hide impurities between the batches. And they probably, and I think what the animator was saying is that they put like very, very, very small amounts of drugs in Coca-Cola and then sold it.
So what's your point here, though? How does this relate to...
Well, the FDA took that down, and that stuff was really bad for you.
So there are examples of the FDA doing good things.
Yeah.
There are examples of the FDA doing bad things.
But,
so why should we put our trust in the FDA right now?
Well, because really, why would they kill us all?
Why would they kill us all, right? I mean, why would they want to do that? What would be the I guess maybe there's a deal with the vaccine manufacturers, and it's a way of just enriching people. Right? What? I mean, why not? Yeah, why not? Stuff like that has happened in the past. So,
Yeah, but if we all get killed, the vaccine manufacturers aren't gonna have like a second wave flu shot that they can sell for $30 a pop.
So, but maybe the vaccine isn't actually dangerous. Timmy. But maybe the vaccine doesn't do anything either. Maybe it's just a ploy again to kind of remind us that we're all just sheep being herded around by these powerful shadow groups like the FDA.
I mean, the statistics directly show. I think like a week ago there was like one person in the ICU with Delta variant COVID.
I believe,
and like the rest of them were all unvaccinated.
Yeah.
Like the ratios show there's a big difference.
So Nana's argument may have made sense initially back in January.
Yeah.
Might be a good grounds for a little bit of hesitancy in that you're still not sure about the safety of it. And maybe you want to wait it out and see how things play out. Whereas now there's enough data to really justify to not really justify that type of hesitancy.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have a conversation with your Nana.
I'd rather not. She's kind of mean.
Really?
Yes.
You think so? You think Nana's mean?
Sometimes, yes.
What about Papa?
Not as mean. He's not as mean.
Interesting. My perception of the two of them was always reversed.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's just because I was dating his daughter.
Yes.
But he always came off as much meaner to me, whereas she was always very pleasant with me.
Well, I mean, you're not trying. I'm not trying to.
Yes.
Date.
Yeah.
Like,
not. You are, and you're their grandchild, right?
Yes.
So it certainly changes the dynamic.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think this is like the top, maybe 9 stories. I don't know what it is. It's a list of 9 things that's on the MSNBC daily news. We have Kellyanne Conway's well-deserved faceplant, which
there's a lot about Kanye.
Yeah, she was the communications person. I think no, she was like, I forget what her official role was, but mainly she just went on the news to spread propaganda. But most recently, Biden removed her and a few other Trump appointees from military, I forget what they're called, but they had these appointments on some military board, and he removed them, and they are complaining about it. Let's see here. Number 2, the fallacy at the heart of Americans' assumption about their constitutional rights.
That's a good title, though. That's a pretty good title.
Yeah, your grandpa has always articulated this as as the concept of freedom goes hand in hand with the notion of civic virtue or civic responsibility. You can't have one without the other. And that the problem is that in America, and not just Republicans either, but throughout our media, throughout our entire culture, there's always been an emphasis on the individual liberty, on the individual freedom, and not enough emphasis on this idea of civic virtue. And I'm guessing that that's what this is.
If we could only be
about.
like communism was supposed to be.
If communism actually worked in
yes.
practice the way that it was theoretically supposed to work.
Then it would have been like mainstream. Everyone would have it. It's the hot new thing up there with the new Hot Wheels cars.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
I mean, theoretically, it does sound cool,
yeah, it
right?
sounds really good.
Equality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. At least not today. Number 3, the GOP's anti-immigrant instincts may have finally met their match.
Where is that?
You know,
there it is on the third one.
I really don't like these titles because they don't really give us enough information. I can't just read the headlines and know what it's about. I need to actually click on the article and read it, and that's not fair.
But that's what they're trying to do. That's the whole point.
Yeah, well, the whole point is to keep us reading and keep us viewing the ads, right?
Yeah.
But I sincerely doubt that the GOP's racism has met its match. Their racism knows no bounds.
The rudest states.
Americans say these are the rudest states. And of course, it was an ad disguised as an actual story.
What?
Oh, and it's a slideshow too. And you know what that means?
Oh my god! What the heck is this thing?
All the ads.
This is even worse than
and guess what?
Shady app I downloaded on my phone.
And guess what? They just went through and they stole comments from Reddit and Quora. So I don't know how you pronounce that. I think it's Quora. Number 25 is
Quora.
Quora. Thank you, my son.
I'm Internet Man.
Internet Man. Anonymous source Internet Man. Nevada is number 25 on the rudest states.
I just want to see where California is because we're not known for being very nice.
No?
No.
No, Los Angelinos are not very polite.
No.
I'll say I've been to Vegas now 3 times, I think, and I met some very not nice people when I was there. I don't know if it's just people preying on the tourists or they don't like the tourists or what. But number 24 is West Virginia.
How close to the top do you think Florida is going to be?
Florida's kind of known as like a party state, isn't it? It's either the party state or the elderly state, which is kind of funny that those two things are in the same state.
Yeah, or the anti-mask state where everyone is just running around and coughing on people for fun.
Yeah, although I will say that the South is kind of known for this idea of Southern hospitality, and that every Southerner I've met, which is not a lot, by the way, has been very polite to your face. Mm-hmm. It's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Mm-hmm. They'll offer you room and board and a meal and that kind of stuff. And of course, if you want to know more about that and why that's total BS, go and read some Faulkner and learn about the notion of the Southern gentleman. But so I wonder how high they're going to be on these lists. Florida is kind of it's a southern state, but it's I don't know if it really counts as part of the South. At least, I mean, the portions of it do. Anyways, West Virginia, number 24.
I mean, Florida man throws alligators at people.
Maryland, I just realized that this is going to include half of all 50 states. I don't know why.
Why did we even click on this?
Connecticut.
There's a view all button.
Oh, there is a view all button.
Oh, we're saved.
Oh, but you know what? To get the view all, we have to join MoneyWise.
Wow.
Because of course we do.
That's not wise with your money.
How else are they going to get our money? Arizona is... I just wanted to see where California was on here.
Yeah.
And see what they have to say about us. Wyoming. Oh my gosh. Do people even live in Wyoming?
No.
Oh gosh.
The ads
Yep.
are attacking.
Clicking on ad. Gosh dang it, man. They keep coming back.
They're hacking.
North
us.
Dakota.
They're hacking.
Are people in smaller, like kind of what I was saying. I always feel like people in smaller communities are more polite
Well, I
to
mean,
to your face.
they don't have many people to talk to, so either they're nice to you or you're a jerk to them for the rest of your life, which is.
I love this image of Wisconsin that they have. It's just two old guys, one of them wearing a plaid
Are they
jacket
both
and then like a
drinking
big Ford truck
beer?
out in the middle of the forest with the snow.
Holding beer, nonetheless.
I don't know if it's beer. I
It
can't-
looks like it.
It might be beer, and if it is beer, and it looks like it's like early in the morning, is that what Wisconsinites do? You guys just wake up and go out in the wilderness and start drinking beer all day?
Yeah, no, just standing there, just chugging it.
Let's see here. Idaho.
Potato.
Okay,
Yeah,
California.
I told you it's gonna be somewhere near the top.
We are number 9, California. Californians are the happy-go-lucky hippies of the U.S., right? Is that how people
God.
view us? That we're just a bunch of hippies?
That's kind of sad.
I always think like you kind of divide us into people who live in Los Angeles, and they're usually seen as kind of stuck up, celebrity, superficial types, or San Francisco, who I guess are kind of viewed as kind of hippie-ish, but still super, not hippie-ish. They're
not driving around in their flowered vans.
It's the middle class white liberal who loves to champion like women's rights and how we need to solve homelessness, but then won't support building low income housing in their backyard. It's that kind of politics. But maybe the rest of the country views us as these happy go lucky hippies. Or I've been told I'm a surfer, I'm a skater, even though I don't think I have the California accent.
I mean, you do skate though. You did skate.
I did skate, yeah. And I never surfed, and of course it's the hair for me, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, it says it's easy to get caught up in that misconception. After all, the sunny, beachy state doesn't seem like it gives its residents too much trouble, at least when it comes to the weather and outdoor activities.
Half of our beaches are super rocky. Please do not ever go on them. It hurts. It literally hurts to walk.
I think compared to some of the other beaches in the world, ours aren't too bad.
We're like in the middle.
Yeah. The beach that we go to though is probably one of the worst beaches. So the only reason your grandparents like to go there is because there's not a lot of people, and there's not a lot of people because the beach sucks.
Yeah.
It says, however, California has its fair share of rude drivers.
Of course.
You've never driven a day in your life.
I
you
have
wouldn't even
seen people honking at people from California for, like, turning.
You mean like your mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's annoying.
Your mom is a pretty angry driver.
Yes, that might be the reason.
She's not rude, though. And its rudeness metric only rises in big cities such as Los Angeles and San Francisco, perhaps due to their high population density. So I wonder if there's actually any research into this in terms of how do you measure politeness exactly, or how do you measure rudeness?
You go around and you do a survey in the public bathrooms.
In the public bathrooms.
You just talk to people through the stalls while they're pooping.
Excuse me, sir. Are you polite? No. Okay. Yeah. I wonder if there's anything to that, and if it has to do with proximity to other people, or just like if you're constantly in contact with other people, maybe they just start to get on your nerves. It goes on. It says people in LA think it's okay to be a jerk because 99.9% of the time you'll never see the other person again. Well, that's an interesting. It's almost like the internet, right? So it provides the sense of anonymity.
It says that right next to it, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this next sentence says, it's like the internet. Jerks write things they wouldn't dream of saying in a real life because there aren't repercussions. It seems to me the worst offenders are the ones who haven't made it but think they should. Says It's Cakes on Reddit. Well, thank you for that insight,
Yes.
It's Cakes.
Wait, so
There you go. You can be famous if you type something on Reddit.
Yeah. Wait, no, I just want to say something real quick. Just because you're on the internet doesn't mean you can write real things because people are going to report you and you're going to get banned. So people thinking that there's no repercussions on the internet because otherwise you're just going to have to remake your whole account or wait for like a month and just wait
Yeah,
without
so
that site that you're obviously on all the time.
it's the illusion of anonymity that gives people the cover from which to act out, right? But as hopefully we all know, anything you do on the internet is not anonymous.
Yeah,
and
you get tracked.
People can,
by
yeah.
job places hiring stuff.
Um,
No, I want to see Florida on here.
you think Florida's on here?
Yes, I really do think Florida's on here.
They could have put it as number one just to kind of play into the current narrative. Alaska.
What? Isn't that the dog racing state?
Washington. You Washingtonians are apparently super rude.
Yeah.
Virginia. Well, that's the other where, next to the other Washington.
No, what?
Number one is New York. So that's kind of the stereotype, right? That New York is full of just a bunch of rude people. Again, it's another kind of big city. But everybody I know who's visited there tells me the exact opposite, that New Yorkers are some of the most friendly folk you will ever meet. Like they're blunt, I guess, and kind of aggressive in the way that they talk and conversate with people, but they're not rude.
That's
they're
just
very,
the way that they talk.
Yeah, it's just the way that they talk. They're very friendly. But I wonder if that's perceived as rudeness, particularly by maybe certain...
By people on Quora.
Yeah, there you go. But I want to read this. It says, it's a surprise to literally no one that New York takes the cake for rude behavior. Locals have a reputation for pushing their way through crowds, swearing on the streets, and honking their way through traffic. See, it's interesting to me that that's seen as rudeness. Like, I would argue that some of the polite mannerisms of Southern society are actually far more rude in a kind of roundabout way.
Yeah.
Anyways, Best Life says nearly 15% of the state's population and 4.5% of its drivers are considered rude. How in the hell do you collect that data? It's probably, again, self-reported survey data or something.
Or, just hang out in front of the bathrooms.
Just hang out in front of the bathrooms, asking people, yeah.
Just sell Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Wait, the Taco Bell bathrooms.
You'll find plenty of video footage on YouTube of road rage in the Big Apple. In late 2020, an ugly parking spot dispute in Queens led to one driver socking his rival in the face before driving his car through the glass storefront of a bakery.
That's assault.
Yeah, I mean, we had something like that happen at Dodger Stadium here in California not too long ago either. Yeah.
What?
Rude is too mild or too cutesy a word for what New Yorkers are. Most of the population is highly narcissistic, highly judgmental, first-rate bullies, and they can be downright evil. They're only nice to those exactly like them or to look good in front of certain people so they'll gain something.
15%.
Jennifer R. Fisher on Quora does not like New York. She has a lot of shit to say about them.
She probably lives in Wisconsin.
All right, well, I think we probably got on for long enough today. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Friday morning, September 10th, 2021, Mr. Anonymous Source. Hopefully you can join me again in the future.
I will try to.
Do you have any parting words for our audience?
Computer broke makes sad.
Computer broke makes sad, Dad. Try go fix.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next Monday.